We here, we made it. Episode 4, Beyond the Views podcast. What up, world? Thank you so much. Really talented guest with us here tonight, EasySheperd.
Hey.
Cheers, man. Thank you for coming. You know, for the viewers out there that want to get to know who EasySheperd is, you know, how did this come about? Take us way back to that day where you said to yourself, you know what? I'm gonna do this. Whether my friends or family or anybody in my life disagrees, I'm gonna do this. And when do you think that day was, man?
That is a story.
Yeah, it must have been a long time ago. And sure, we got time, man. But I just want people to hear that, like, that seed. You planted the seed one day.
Got it. Okay, so we have to backtrack before that moment. So, okay, when I was like growing up, I always knew I was a creative kid.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I would be doing, like, I was early, man. We're talking like 4, 5, 6. I was drawing.
Yeah.
I was already making like short stories.
Yeah.
I was a creative kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, between like 7 and 10, I completely lost my confidence. Right? I don't know why. It just happened. I was just done. I was gone. And then I think at like 12, bro, I saw, okay, mind you, I was also still such a fan of just music. At that point though, it was like Bollywood. Yeah. I was big on Bollywood. Big on Bollywood and like just Bollywood and the radio.
Yeah.
And dude, at 12, I saw Lil Wayne and T.I. and something about him, bro, it hit me. And I went, yo, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that shit.
Yeah.
And I did that shit. And people laughed. So I stopped that shit. So I stopped. Like, I remember I had this stupid, silly, like, Spider-Man notebook.
Yeah.
Right? It had, like, Spider-Man on it. And then I was just writing my, like, silly rhymes. And my older cousin, bro, shout out to Paul, I love him though. I was living with him at the time. I was living with his family at the time. And he literally took my notebook. I might have been like 14. I think I was 14. He took my notebook and he was just reading out my rhymes to everybody. Like it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It was so embarrassing.
Of course, yeah.
And I was just like, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah.
But I didn't stop.
Yeah.
Because I was always doing it low key.
Okay.
But again, I did not have the confidence, bro.
Yeah.
To like ever tell anyone that, hey man, I actually want to do this. Because I didn't even think it was possible.
Yeah. Salute.
One of my friends, he's a very good friend of mine. His name's Rain.
Yeah.
And he was rapping.
Yeah.
And he was making music. This is in high school.
Yeah.
He was making music and he was kind of popping. Like people knew him, people were respecting him, right?
Nice.
And something about seeing someone do it that you know personally, it's close to home. So it was very motivating.
Right.
Which is why I think it's also important to have representation in the first place.
Of course.
It's something about representation. He was so close that it felt possible, but not all the way. I was still kind of iffy. However, I remember we were smoking.
Right.
And I just asked him, man. I asked him, hey, how did you do this?
Yeah. Huge.
Yeah, like how did you? Was this just something you had inside you? What's the sauce? What's the secret?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he told me, yo, bro, I just put the work in. Dude, it clicked. Something in my head, something just went off. And
right.
Accepted that, oh yeah, I am actually creative. And all I have to do is put the work in.
Right. Right.
It was like an epiphany.
Right. Right.
Whenever people, like, you know how like people talk about epiphany as this I didn't know what an epiphany was until that moment.
You went through that.
Yeah, like it was, dude. It was unreal. Like I went home and I just started writing.
Wow.
I started writing, and I never stopped. And for some reason, it just clicked. Something in my head just shifted, and I went,
right.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pursue this.
That is so cool.
I'm actually this. All I have to do, the sauce, the secret, the move is, I just gotta put the work in.
Right. And you know, for everyone listening right now, you know, I love to know these stories, right? Because I had the same motions, and I went through the same thing, right? Where, you know, I brought up some raps, and people were like, yeah, and I was like, oh, you know, maybe it's not for me. But yet, I knew that my soul, deep down inside, it's what I really wanted to do. But hearing other people, so the question, you know, why I'm saying this is that when you first started, someone saying, to you, it seems like you still went home and you still had some feeling inside of you that said, no, I'm gonna still do this. So what was that like voice in your head that said, no, Sheperd, like, forget about what that guy said or what she said. I still want to do this. Because I think like that's what can catch anybody in a point where, or in a stigma of just being frozen and not going forward anymore. Fuck it. If that one person said it's whack, then maybe it is whack.
I didn't have, well, first of all, I didn't have anything else.
Okay.
So I wasn't like I wasn't necessarily a good student.
Yeah.
I wasn't I wasn't an athlete, you know?
Right.
I didn't have anything else. So
Right.
I knew that I had this, which is, my creativity.
Right.
And how did I block out everybody else, even though, I mean, you know what, bro? A part of it is delusion.
Yeah. It really is, though.
Like,
it really is. At that point,
I think I just, like, because there's so many reasons why I should have stopped. Like, clearly, like, how am I supposed to? This is before, okay, mind you, this is before Nav, right? So this is before even somebody that is brown even had some type of, I mean, of course you have artists like MIA, or you had J. Paul, but even he's not like, he's not necessarily in the mainstream.
Yeah.
You had MIA.
Yeah.
And she was like, kind of like, she was not necessarily in the spotlight at the time. So I didn't have anyone, especially a male person. So there was no indication even outside of that. There were other factors that gave me the indication that this would be impossible. Right. So why did I mean, dude, that can be, I don't know, something about me. I'm like, it was I have this it's just a deep-seated optimism.
Right.
Which can be taken for delusion.
Of course. And, you know, that being said, you ran with it. Do you remember the first song you made? Or the moment you put out that first song on Spotify, Apple Music? Yeah. What song is that? Tell the people, what song is that? And give me the writing process. And before you, because if you guys are listening, if you're an artist yourself, you know that finishing a song, it's probably the hardest part is to say like it's polished from like A to Z. So give me that experience where it was like that first song, you wrote it, that process, how did it feel writing it? How did it feel re-listening to yourself? And you know what's big? How did it feel when you shared it for that one person or two or five or six and see their reactions?
The first, oh, that's funny. So I dropped 3 songs. They're not out. I took them off. I took them down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were not it.
Okay, that's fine. We all do that. I've done that too.
They're not it.
Yeah.
It was 3 tracks, and I'm gonna put them out someday. as like some type of collectible or something.
Dope.
You know, just so like,
discs, maybe.
Yeah, just so like the deep fans. Can
That
hear
is
this shit.
dope. That is dope.
I did not. What was the process like, dude? That shit was crazy. I wrote it, and this is the first time I was experimenting with other engineers, right? And my mistake was trusting another person's ears, to be honest with you, and because I was convinced that these sounded good. They were not bad, but they were not. They were not good enough to.
You weren't happy. You weren't satisfied.
Yeah, I was actually okay. Let's rewind. So there's 3 songs, right? And even then, the ideas were good.
Okay.
Right? The execution was bad.
Okay.
I always had the ideas. I always was like blending things together and making creative works.
Right.
The execution at that time was not good.
Okay.
Because I didn't know how to mix it. I didn't know how to engineer it. I didn't know how my voice was supposed to sound.
Right. Right.
I was naive.
Right.
And what the process was it was like new to me, yo. It was I was so naive, and I was such a novice, and I was just excited to record them and put them out. I remember when I put them out, the reactions were like mixed. You know, I put it out. I was tripping. Of course.
And
obviously, some people were telling me, "Yo, this is good. This is bad. This is good. This is bad." Right? It was mixed, and I thought at that time, that this is like words of advice. At the time, I thought that was the best stuff I was ever gonna put out.
Best mentality to have.
Right?
Huge.
No, it's not.
Why?
Because I thought that was the best I had. So I actually wanted to push those 3 songs.
Right.
More. Later, I one up myself constantly. I was creating better songs.
Right.
But but at the time I thought that was the best I could come up with.
And sorry to interrupt you. The reason why I say that's such a dope mentality to have is that you know, to get to the point where you feel like you're the shit, especially being at stage 1 in your career, is massive.
But here's the thing. I think when you're at stage 1, and this is not to say that I'm at like stage fucking 10 or something like that. I'm still here trying to get better and still trying to improve and still do those things. I'm just better than stage 1. But at stage 1, I think that a lot of people at stage 1 are delusional. They genuinely believe, because I was there and I've seen it around me. They believe that what they're making is hot shit.
Right.
Why? Because their ears aren't trained.
Okay.
So
I see where you're going.
You're listening to your stuff, and now you're listening to other music, and at stage 1, you think your stuff is comparable to that stuff that you are looking up to.
Okay.
Why? It's because your ears are not trained enough to distinguish the difference between why this is great and why yours is not.
Right. Okay.
Later on, stage 2, stage 3, etc., you start actually hearing why your shit is not as good as this, right? You hear the melodic choices, the arrangement. You hear why this is more exciting than yours. You hear why tonally you're not that impressive. Mm-hmm. So at stage 1, you're super delusional. Mm-hmm. I think you'll notice this with like a lot of beginning artists. Their chest is already puffed. They believe they're hot shit. Right. I did. I believed I was hot shit. Right. Even though my shit was kind of out of tune, and tonally I was not that good. And arrangement, it was just, those were not good songs. Like the ideas were good, but they were not good songs. And a lot of people have this problem where at stage 1 they think they are the shit. Okay. However, at stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, whatever, like just progressing forward, your ears start getting better. Yeah. And what happens when you get better? Yeah. You realize you're false. Right. You realize where you are coming up short. Right. That leads to some crises. Right. That leads to some self-doubt. Right. That leads to you going, oh shit, I'm actually not that fucking good.
Right.
And that is the challenge. Now you have to actually work through your damn disadvantages to try and get to that, to try and get to a level where you compete.
Right.
So I mean, you need that. Here's the thing, it's a paradox because as you know, you are delusional, but you need that delusion to get to a space where you feel comfortable. You need that
to get
delusion.
to the next stage. Like,
you need
it's
that
all stages, I feel.
You need that delusion to move you forward.
Right.
Because if you don't,
right,
you're probably gonna freeze.
Yeah.
However, when the delusion is gone, you realize how naive you were.
Right.
It's fine. These are stages. These things happen. You
stages, people.
You shed the dead skin.
Right.
But that
well
skin,
said.
that delusional, it was necessary.
Yeah.
It was necessary for its time. Then you shed it. You feel a little embarrassed. You laugh at yourself.
Right.
And then you move on. It's a new stage.
When did you realize, listening back to those 3 songs early in your career, that you said,
these were not it?
Not it. Not making the cut.
When I made the next batch of songs.
Okay.
When I made the next batch of songs and I looked back and I went, wow, these are not even, I see where I went
caliber
wrong.
there, yeah.
I see where I went wrong there.
Okay.
So it took me to make new stuff.
Okay.
And I think that you should constantly be making new stuff.
Right.
And never feel like what you made was the best you got.
Right. You can always
surprise yourself.
Right, right.
Which is why, I mean, that's a big reason I still do it. It's because I surprise myself.
Right.
You know?
And you had self-discipline to put in the work. Lyrics are not going to write itself.
Nope.
And, when writing lyrics, there's a lot of things, you listening right now, upcoming artist, if you're an artist yourself, you know this, that like roadblocks, when you get these writer blocks, it puts you in a situation where you might feel pissed, or you might feel frustrated, you might feel like, why am I even doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And these are, emotions that a lot of artists go through. Either you're a painter, you're an engineer, producer, anything, right? Like, a lot of times people see the finished product and they're like, oh, that's so dope, I can do that, like that's fire. But like, to get to that point mentally is not easy. EasySheperd and I are talking about right now is the fact that, there's so much things that go in through your mind, so much doubt, illusions, and things that are gonna make you wanna go back a step. Meanwhile, you're actually trying to go forward. And the first stages of starting anything you wanna start off from the ground up, it's always gonna be a tornado of thoughts and feelings. And you just gotta know how to keep pushing that. And would you say that now, with time, with your experience, you have figured out your different emotions when you're creating something? Have you got a lot better with time and understanding and putting away some emotions that you might feel like, like this should have been better with this album or this EP, and how I want to release this now? And have you settled your mind? Have you grounded yourself to a point where you feel at ease now? You can just make some music that you love and put it out when it's right?
Anything I put out now, since late 2018, anything I've put out, I've been proud of. Yeah, like I loved it. Like,
special.
It took a while, obviously, to get to a spot where I feel proud of the music I put out, but now I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I bump myself. I bump my own shit now, like I play it, like I love it. I recognize where I'm going right and where I could be improving.
Right.
And
it's the process.
Yeah, it's just the process. And I fuck with my shit.
Like, your shit's fire, bro.
Thank you. I fuck with it. I genuinely, because what I wanted to do the whole time was to get to a place where I can just make the stuff that I hear in my damn head. And it was always outside of myself. It was always teasing me.
Right.
And I never Like for a long time, man, it didn't feel like I was gonna reach that point where I could literally bring out the things in my head. And then I did. And I kept doing it. Road Trip was a great example.
Road Trip. Can you tell them where the Spotify's at? That Road Trip, that piece of work. Listen, DM me. Okay? DM me once you've listened to the piece of work. And I guarantee you, one to the end, you're not skipping it. Where can they find Road Trip right now?
So you can listen to Road Trip everywhere, essentially. You just have to type my name in. That's Sheperd, Sheperd. Again, Sheperd. You'll see, I'm sure you will recognize me in my profile photo.
Yo.
And I hope you like it.
I've been bumping that, and I'm telling you, like, you get different, it's like he's bringing you through a wave through this like time of everything. Emotional, love, soul, dance, celebrations. It's fire. That's a huge piece of work, man. Road Trip.
It was fun, man. It was,
the name is beautiful too. It just seems like you're just in a journey of.
Shout out to JD. That was not me. I'm not gonna take credit for that. He was my primary partner at the time, creative partner.
Yeah.
And he brought a lot to the table, man. And that was not supposed to be an album.
Really?
It began because, it was summer, and he was just like, hey man, why don't we drop a summer EP? I was like, all right, 5 tracks. Here's the thing about me. I don't stop. So 5 turned to 7, turned to 9, turned to 12, turned to 13. And then, obviously it was finished. I'll also say, like, an album is a beautiful moment. I think that because when I was creating that, bro, and I think that other artists can attest to this, it felt like you are now engulfed in this world for a long time. So let's say the process, I think it took like 2 to 3 months. Dude, for those 2 to 3 months, I was literally living in this sonic world that I'd created. And it was so much fucking fun. And I didn't want to get, you almost don't want to get out of it. But my health was deteriorating. Like, I was not sleeping, I was not eating right, which is so fucked up to think about it, how much you have to go through to make some of these damn things.
Yeah.
But
you put everything to it.
Yeah, you put everything into it. And it was just a fun, I wish I'd recorded it. I wish I'd shot more about, like, behind the scenes for it.
Yeah.
But that was fun, man.
Yeah, the journey of it, man. Like, you had a blank canvas just there, and you're just looking at it. It's fucking blank.
Yeah.
How do I get, some emotions out of my life and my experiences from all this?
I will say that it's not conscious either. Like, generally, it's a lot of it is not me. Like, it's just I
see what you're saying. I see where you're going.
I'm doing stuff to bring these things out, but these are not premeditated. This is not me going, yeah, I'm gonna make a whole 13-track tape and it's gonna be like these sounds and include these sounds. It's more like
organic.
Yeah, it's just happening.
Dope.
I just happen to pull out this, and this sounds good with this, and that sounds good with this, and then it's like someone asked me, it's like, okay, why, how'd you even think of that? I don't know. I wasn't thinking.
Wow.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking, and I think but that is to say that when you are progressing, when you're like coming up, and I'm still coming up, but when you are progressing musically, don't overthink it. Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I think that you just, because a lot of times I think you get locked into thinking like you have to say certain things.
Right.
You have to say certain things. You have to make clear that you make certain sounds. Well, more like saying. I'm gonna stick with lyrics, but with lyrically, I feel like sometimes people get caught up in trying to feel like you have to say something. I agree. Those are good goals.
Yeah.
Like, for example, lyrically, a lot of the songs were goals. General message of it,
right,
was a goal.
Right.
But to get to that goal, it's like something I keep in mind, and then I write accordingly, and eventually it'll come out. But it's something it's like, when you're like manifesting something, right? It's just something I keep in my head. Like, I'd love to make a song about this X, Y, or Z.
Right.
Right. And but I don't force it. I just put it in my damn head, and then I just get better, and eventually it'll come out. The vision will be expressed when it's ready, but I have to prepare for it. And how I prepare for it is that I make sure that I just get better.
Right.
Right? So, but eventually what I want to express will be expressed. I just have to be at a skill level that will enable that vision to be executed perfectly. Because
love it.
Yeah, because sometimes you have big ideas, but you're not good enough to express it. So what you write will not be good.
Right.
Because you're not at the skill level yet.
Exactly.
There might be a big song in your head, bro. There might be a big idea, but if you are not skilled enough to bring it to life, it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
You have to get your skill level up so that that big idea can come into fruition properly.
Who inspired you to make music? Was there a particular artist or something that you grew up with that your family was listening to that at a young age you started to just dance to it and vibe to it? And if you don't have anybody, that's okay.
It has to be Rain, like the person I mentioned. Just seeing him locally do his thing. Were there any particular artists that made me feel like, oh yeah, I want to make music because of this person? No. There wasn't any artist in particular. I enjoy. Of course, I'm a fan of fucking music. So I'm a fan of artists.
Yeah.
But no artist in particular inspired me to make music.
How would you describe the music that you're typically create? Good melodic energy with your sound, but yet you can make that dance feel kind of song, and yet you can body a freestyle with just straight bars and rap. What type of sound that you enjoy doing most, or that you like? You know, because Road Trip got me feeling
a lot.
It was a road trip.
Yeah.
It felt like I could literally go on a road trip and listen to this whole album from front to back, and it would take me everywhere. Hands up, loose, hands outside the window, feeling the wind.
I just like okay. Well, my curiosity is all over the place. So the situation that I'm usually in with people is, say they have a certain taste for music, right? Certain taste in music. What'll happen is, I like everything they like, but generally they don't like everything I like.
Okay.
I like a lot, bro. I listen to a lot.
I can tell.
There's a lot of fucking,
I can tell.
There's music I'm gonna listen to. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is this shit? However, there's also music I listen to. You can vibe with, of course. My taste is just eclectic as fuck. It's just wide. It varies. It's a lot, and so that shows up musically. Like, I just like exploring. I get bored so easily with one type of sound.
That is so dope.
Way too bored. Like, I think it's detrimental to an extent, because certain people will look to me for a certain sound or certain style.
Just gonna say, yeah.
And then when I do something else,
yeah,
it's like, well, Shep, we wanted Bella, we wanted ZZ, we wanted like, or it'll be like, Shep, we wanted her body and emotion. We don't want to hear none of that other shit. And it's like, well, I gotta figure this out. Or rather, it's just a blessing and a curse that I'm into so much. But everyone is not going to like everything from me, you know.
Yeah, because you always feel like you have to stay in a niche of just do this.
Yeah,
that's it.
No, yo, I will say I respect artists. Okay, for example, Adib.
Yeah.
Listening to his shit, listening to what he's coming up with.
Yeah.
It's beautiful and it's consistent.
Right.
Sonically.
Right.
I look up to that. Someone can take one sound or one type of sound and spread it across songs.
Right.
You know, I struggle with that because I get bored.
Right.
So Road Trip, luckily it sounded cohesive because vocally, melodically, I knew how to, or not, I didn't know how to, but first, I guess my voice just sounds consistent enough to make it sound like a consistent thread.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You gave, different kind of vibes and feelings, but yet I feel like you still stayed in a perimeter of...
I did. Like there are sounds that there are sounds I obviously am drawn to, right? Whether it's minor chords, for example, like whenever me and Kaj are working, it's generally always minor. So I am drawn to things like deep bass lines and
dope.
And
yeah.
Like I'm drawn to those quicker, dance hall inspired rhythms.
Yeah.
Or Latino pop inspired
Solo
rhythms.
out now. Yo, Solo's a vibe.
Thank you. Yo, funny story about Solo.
I'm feeling like you were Spanish or something.
This is super exclusive. It took me a while to like the version that it's at right now.
Really?
Yeah, it took me a while.
Wow.
There was previous versions. I actually liked its inception way more than I liked this one. But I trusted Mel. Shout out to Mel. Mel
Shout
Music.
out to Mel.
I actually trusted him on this one, right? I genuinely, because there's a first version and then there's this final version.
Okay.
I fucked with the first version so much more. But he told me, yo, bro, trust me, it's a vibe, I'm telling you. I was like, all right, man. Let me let go of the wheel.
Yeah.
And
that's okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
It's hard to do.
As an artist, that must be so hard. Yeah.
It's fucking hard. But sometimes you have to be brave.
Yeah.
And you gotta let it go.
Yeah. Are we gonna listen to that first one, the one that you love? Would that be an exclusive maybe to like a next EP you put out?
I might show you.
Because I want to hear that.
I might show you that.
Jesus, I want to hear that because Solo is out right now.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's new. That's why I came by and I was like, I haven't listened to Solo yet. I bumped that shit in my car and I was like, vibes. Like, this guy's Spanish? Like, what's the vibes like?
It's cool,
dope,
man.
Yeah, it's dope.
It's a cool song. It grew on me. It definitely grew on me. I think it's a good example of when you have to take a risk and just let go of the fucking wheel. I don't recommend doing that all the time, but you gotta be brave sometimes. You gotta just, all right, let me take it off. Let me just lose control for a bit.
Right.
Lose control.
Reimagined's about to come out right now. Right now I'm bumping Road Trip because the body of work of that is amazing. We still got more coming. Stay tuned. Cut action.
All right,
we're back. How do you create, that fine balance of, having structure and how you create things and how you still proceed to the next project and stay motivated? How do you just stay consistent, positive, optimistic with what you're doing?
First of all, faith, for sure. I think that faith in what you're doing and in yourself is the key. Right, that's the first key. That is absolutely paramount. And without that, you're going to be unable to keep moving. You need faith, absolutely. I'm so faithful. But then second, also gratitude for my gifts, right? But it took a while to get to that stage. The first one, it's faith, man. It's definitely faith. I had faith that I would get great or good. I'm not gonna say great. That's not fair.
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna say good. I'm good. But it took faith to get there. It took faith to recognize that I wanted to achieve something in my life. And in order to do that, I have to have faith that I will do something great in my life.
Salute.
And I decided it would be music.
Amazing.
Of course, I was already, born with particular talents, like melodies, for example. I did not train. Obviously, I've gotten better, but I was all, out of the gate, I was good with melodically. At least I knew how to carry a tune. Like it was just so in.
It was in you.
Yeah, it was just in.
But you knew how to rhyme with it. You ran with it.
Yeah, that part. So it's faith, but then it's also the willingness to. And I give a lot of credit to school for this. I think school is not a bad system. I think school is not good if you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Right.
So first is faith. Second is studying. You have to study. I had a system, man. I had a system to get good. I would write. I called it my practice chart. Daily, I would practice something. I would practice either punchlines, metaphors, similes, hooks, stories, to practice idioms, a lot of goddamn things just to get better at my pen, at knowing how to be witty, how to be funny, how to be creative writing. So there's faith and then there's study, and I got that from school. It was because you are trained to get better in school at subjects. It's just we're not interested in the subject. But things like essay writing, they make sense.
Yes.
Things like tests, they make sense, man.
Yes,
they make a lot of sense.
Yes, they do.
You gotta get better somehow. So I knew that this was not just gonna happen automatically.
Right.
I had to be deliberate when it comes vocally. So it's faith and then it's study. I'm gonna put X amount of time into practice every day. Practice, real, deliberate practice. And by the glory of whatever higher power is out there, it works. It's worked. I've gotten better, I've progressed, I've done things that I never thought I would. And it's a real cool, uplifting feeling. And I feel more knowledgeable about music. I feel like I'm more zeroed in on something, Yeah. It feels good knowing that you can be a beacon of information for others.
Yeah.
So like other artists will like come to me for advice or information regarding songs. Advice for career, I don't know if I'm the best one for that. But musically, strictly music, man, I can help you. I could bring your shit to life. And that's a cool feeling knowing that, yo. So faith and work. Faith and work. And if you don't have faith, you're out the gate already. Because you're not gonna keep going.
That's it. Light off. You gotta have faith. Do you give yourself credit? Do you pat yourself on the back? Like, yo, I've came this far. There was one day where no one listened. Now 200,000 people that listen to that. Like that's huge. Have you taken time to like celebrate your wins? It's not about celebrating only the big wins. You gotta celebrate the small wins.
I celebrate myself.
That's so important.
I think I celebrate myself. I think I celebrate whatever small victories I've achieved by giving myself the green light to keep going. So things like her hitting whatever amount of plays. I mean, these things will come to my head, and it's cool. It's cool. It's really cool. But it's not enough. But it's at least an indication that what I am doing is a good thing. That people are listening, so it must be bringing something good in their lives. They're clearly enjoying it. So that's a good thing I'm doing. Okay, that's cool. I should keep going. It's more of a green light. It's more of a, I passed one green light. Okay, is that gonna be red? Is that gonna be yellow? Oh, it's green. Okay, I should keep going.
Right, yeah.
It's just green lights. It's green lights. And when I explore my creativity and I make something that's fresh and innovative, it's a green light. Keep going.
100%.
So, I'm celebrating myself now. We're drinking a beer. We're having fun. I'm always willing to do those things. I'm not gonna sell my life short.
No.
I'm gonna make time to have fun and be with my family and friends and go out and do these things. Not excessively. Let's like of course moderated, right? But I'm not going to restrict myself in my life. Music is not a thing unless my life. There's one quote. I live by this quote. It's, my art will not come to life unless my life becomes my art.
Love it.
And so I have to live. But I congratulate myself by keeping it going.
Right. Yeah.
Push more.
Yeah.
You got something good going.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
I don't need to like throw a party.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. I'm gonna party regardless.
Right.
Because it's fucking life, and I want to enjoy time with my friends and family.
Right.
You know.
Right. And that's so important because I feel like, you know, you've gone through so much in your journey, and you know, not anybody's gonna sit there and work on their craft so much.
No.
You know, sometimes it's like,
hey man, here's another thing.
I'm out.
Another thing that I'd like to mention is some people don't have to. Some people are gifted writers, genuinely gifted. I happen to be very good at storytelling and keeping a consistent story going. So I know how to go from A to Z. And I just know how to do that. I know how to. I was always a kid who was writing short stories. Storytelling has always been my thing. So I just know how to get points across. And I always was good at like melody. But I had to work at being like wittier, or I had to work at. I want to be, dude. I'm just like I'm challenging myself. I gotta listen to Biggie. I gotta listen to Pac. I gotta listen to Marvin Gaye. I gotta listen to the Beatles. I gotta listen to Beach Boys. I gotta listen to Vibes Cartel. I gotta listen to Skrillex. I gotta listen.
Jeez, bro, you just named.
It's a versatile. I gotta listen to greats.
God
I
damn.
gotta listen to Frank Ocean, to Prince, to Michael. I gotta listen and know.
Listen to that list.
I gotta know what am I striving for here, and I gotta know what's happened before me, so I know what I can improve on, or what can I contribute. But unless I know what's already been contributed through history, I'm not gonna know what, you know.
Yo, you said that like fucking right on.
Dude, it's about, I take it seriously.
Jesus, yo, you said that right on. Like that list you just named, imagine you taking some time to listen to all those fucking legendary, iconic artists. You know what that's gonna do, man? Like,
here's the thing, right?
throw a fucking paint in that canvas and you're just gonna go wild.
100. But you have to
Jeez.
but you have to sit down and study it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can just listen to it passively. But what I encourage is active listening. And it's hard, man.
Active listening, yeah.
It's active, because you know, something like the Beatles, let's face it, it's 2021 now.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it's going to be hard listening to something from the 60s.
Yeah.
It's not your taste.
Yeah, yeah.
It's an acquired taste. You got to listen like, you're just not into it. It's not, it's like, what the hell am I listening to right now, man? I'd rather, let me bump like some other shit. So it's active. And that's this, again, using the school metaphor. A lot of times, if you're taking, let's say you want to be a doctor, you love biology. Let's say physics.
Yeah, physics.
Yeah, let's say physics. You say you love that, but you hate chemistry, or you're just not into it. But you got to do it to become a damn doctor. You got to take it. You got to take it. You got to
take it. Got to learn it.
Yeah, you got to learn it. And hopefully you find some type of enjoyment in it, in the suffering. Even though you know you dislike it, but if you want to be a damn doctor, you got to learn chemistry.
You got to do it.
Same thing.
Yeah, you got to do it. Way. But the difference is, it's not forcing yourself to learn it. You know what I mean? You're going to do it because you want to fucking do it. Because you want to fucking be great at what you do.
That's the thing. Musically, yo, you don't have to listen to the Beatles. You don't have to listen to any of these people, bro. You could listen to, your diet of music can be Uzi, DaBaby, and Playboi Carti. If you want to make that type of music, by all means, go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah.
It just, with me, I know that I want to contribute something innovative and never heard before. I want to create my own shit.
I can tell.
Right? And to have that type of ambition, creative ambition for myself, I gotta know my shit.
Yeah.
Okay, this is also not conscious either though. It's very unconscious. It's very me, something inside me. It just wants to keep listening and keep getting just improving and
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
You're leveling up.
Exactly.
But you're leveling up not because you have to. You're leveling up because you just want to expand. You just want to learn.
Yeah.
And pay tribute to all these icons out there that, maybe made you start in the first place, or maybe not. But
yeah, I will say that they didn't, right? Like I was not inspired by someone like a Prince or Michael Jackson. These guys came later in my life.
Of course, yeah.
I appreciated
different
them
era.
later. Different era, different time, different upbringing, but it's about something inside me just wants to achieve something great, and it believes that it can in music. This is not, listen, you could listen, you don't have to be great. You could be a great son. You can be a great father. You can be a great goddamn plumber. Like,
yeah,
if that's bringing you contentment in your life.
Right.
That's fine.
The answer.
It's fine. You could do that.
That's what I'm saying.
You can listen.
That's the fucking answer, man. Like whatever it is that rocks your boat, and you feel good and happy about it, and every day you're a winner.
Yeah, this is not like, in pursuit of these creative dreams, I lose a lot. I lose things like the capability to, like having a wife, for example, right? That becomes challenging. It becomes challenging your everyday life becomes challenging because a large part of it has to be exerted into creative. A lot of your energy has to be exerted into creative, and a lot of people are not gonna. People are not gonna get it. Your family might not get it. So this is a very specific choice. And you do not have to do it, yo. You don't. If that's not you. If it is, then hey, welcome.
If it is, welcome.
Yeah, it's
yo, honestly, like you touched on a point that I haven't came across anybody that's ever touched on these kind of points, by the way. So like, I salute you. But we are going to finish this episode with asking EasySheperd to let us know what's next, man. But what's next? What can the people wait for? Shout it out, and we'll close off this podcast for today, man.
So, depending on the date of this podcast, either I have a tape coming out. It's called REIMAGINED.
REIMAGINED.
It's either gonna have dropped by the time this podcast comes out or not, but that is the next step, and that's essentially, it's short. It's me recreating past songs to make fresh new versions.
Dope.
I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that. In regards to the rest of the year, I'm proud of that one. I'm really proud of that one. I thought it's cool. Everyone is not gonna fuck with it.
Nah. Everyone's gonna fuck with it. It's fire.
It's not. But it's beautiful. It's a beautiful tape. It's a beautiful tape. I love that tape. And the rest of the year is gonna be full of new
journeys, new doors,
new music, man.
New music. And best believe that once it comes out, I will be on my live with Sheperd, premiering all the music, new vibes. Stay tuned. I want to give you a cheers once again, man. Like,
hey, man.
Hey, pleasure meeting you. I fuck with your music. You're a dope artist, and I know there's a lot coming for you. Keep grinding. The grind is not easy, but you gotta grind. You gotta practice. You gotta be consistent, and then all your beautiful roses, like this beautiful orchid, will rise up. I got hot sauce in the bag.